Good morning. Welcome back to Bookie Monsters. My name is PK. It is Thursday, October 10th, 1010. And today we are looking at the new releases that have been published this week in fantasy and science fiction. We look at the new releases each day of the work week, Monday through Friday, a different genre every day, because as Bookie Monsters, we need to know what's out there. And this is way better news to wake up to be informed about. So this is a service that you can watch anytime. It is live right now, but I do repost it later, so you can watch it at your leisure. Quick announcements. I do have sprints tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. They go for 2.5 hours. I get here as quickly as I can after work, and we get started sometimes a little earlier than that. Kind of depends on the traffic. I do the sprints 3 times a week, every Tuesday and Thursday evenings and Saturday afternoons. Good afternoon, Anita. How are you doing? We are here to look at fantasy and science fiction. Released this week, set free this week. All right, let me close that. First up, The Stone Witch of Florence by Anna Roche. 1348. As the Black Plague ravages Italy, Ginevra de Gasparo is summoned to Florence after nearly a decade of lonely exile. Ginevra has a gift, harnessing the hidden powers of gemstones. She can heal the sick. But when word spread of her unusual abilities, she was condemned as a witch and banished. Now the same men who expelled Ginevra are begging for her to return. She obliges, assuming the city's leaders are finally ready to accept her unorthodox cures amid a pandemic. But upon arrival, she is tasked with a much different mission. She must use her collection of jewels to track down a ruthless thief who is ransacking Florence's churches for priceless relics, the city's only hope for protection. If she succeeds, she'll be a recognized physician and never accused of witchcraft again. Right. But as her investigation progresses, Ginevra discovers she is merely a pawn in a much larger scheme than one she's been hired to solve, and the dangerous men behind the conspiracy won't think twice about killing a stone witch to get what they want. The Wedding Witch. We got a lot of witches. She's a witch. How do you know she's a witch? Good, thanks. And me, I'm okay. I'd be okayer if it were the weekend, but it's Thursday. This is by Aaron Sterling. Bowen Penhallow has always been a loner, studying dark and ancient magic on a mountainside in Wales. He prefers it that way. But when his friend Colin, who happens to be a ghost, asks him to attend a Yuletide wedding at a grand estate deep in the Welsh countryside, Bowen reluctantly agrees. Tamsin Bly is not a witch, but she makes her living off of them. As a procurer and seller of magical items, Tamsin's business is not always above board. But she's been trying to fix that, mostly. Bowen is an occasional customer, as well as the star of several of Tamsin's dirtiest dreams. But she's been around enough witches to know that as a human, getting involved with one is not the smartest idea. She's finagled an invite to the witchy wedding of the century in the hopes of finally making a score big enough to retire. Just one priceless magical artifact from Twill House will set her up for life. But Tamsin isn't the only one sneaking about in Twill House, and the mix of a very strong spell combined with a wedding mishap transports Bowen and Tamsin into Twill's house past to the Yuletide celebration of 1958. As Bowen and Tamsin work together to get back to the present, they must also face off with the origins of Twill House's haunting, the suspicions of their fellow witches, oh, and the fact that somewhere between the mistletoe and the bonfire, they might be falling in love. Hi, Miss Blogger. How you doing? Welcome, welcome. Red in Tooth and Claw by Lish McBride. Fallon Kelly's grandfather is dead. She's alone in the world and suddenly homeless, all because the local powers that be don't think a young man of 16 is mature enough to take over his grandfather's homestead. And that's with them thinking Fallon is a young man. If she revealed that her grandfather had been disguising her for years, they would marry her off at the first opportunity. The mayor finds a solution that serves everyone but Fallon. He hires a gunslinger to ship her off to the settlement, a remote fort where social outcasts live under the leadership of his benevolence, Gideon Dillard. It's a place rife with mystery, kept afloat by suspicious wealth. Dillard's absolute command over his staff just doesn't seem right, and neither do the strange noises that keep Fallon up at night. When Fallon finds the body of a settlement boarder mangled by something that can't possibly be human, it's clear something vicious is stalking the Palisades. And as settlement boarders continue to drop like flies, Fallon knows she must escape to evade the creature's wrath. More witches. The Witches of El Paso by Louis Jarmillo. If you call the witches, they will come. 1943 El Paso. Teenager Nina spends her days caring for the small children of her older sisters and longing for a life of adventure. The premonitions and fainting spells she has endured since childhood are getting worse, and Nina worries she'll end up like the scary old curandera down the street. Nina prays for help, and when the mysterious Sister Benedicta arrives late one night, Nina follows her across the borders of space and time. In colonial Mexico, Nina grows into her power, finding love and learning that magic always comes with a price. In the present day, Nina's grandniece, Marta, balances a struggling legal aid practice with motherhood and the care of the now 93-year-old Nina. When Marta agrees to help search for a daughter Nina left in the past, the two forge a fierce connection. I know I put her somewhere. Oh, yeah, she's in the past. Marta's own supernatural powers emerge, awakening her to new possibilities that threaten the life she has constructed. End of row one. Divine Mortals by Amanda Helander. Helander. Blessed by the gods, Mona Arnett has the unique ability to divine soulmates, but she refuses to seek out her own until she learns the king is dying without an heir, threatening the royal line and the world's access to magic. Tasked with naming his future queen, Mona discovers the king's soulmate is her. A royal match is the last thing Mona wants, especially when she starts falling for the king's closest advisor, so she lies, cheats, and contends with scheming gods to hide the truth. But when this high stakes Game of Thrones leads to murder, survival, and the fate of the kingdom will depend on her finding the courage to face her destiny. No, I don't want to marry the king. How to summon a fairy godmother Good morning, Emily, by Laura J. Mayo. If a fairy godmother can get one sister into a marriage, getting another out of one should be easy. Lady Theodosia Balfour has certainly gotten the short end of the stick. Her stepsister, the newly crowned Princess Beatrice, is telling everyone in polite society that Theo, her sister, and their mother are evil, wicked, and horrid people who treated her like a slave. Though Theo knows this isn't exactly true, it seems her life is thoroughly ruined by the rumor. With the Balfour family estate on the verge of bankruptcy, Theo's only path forward is a forced betrothal to the Duke of Snowbell, a foul-tempered geezer who wishes only to use her as a broodmare for spare heirs. Desperate for help, Theo clings to the only thing that might save her, a rumor of a fairy godmother, one that supposedly helped her stepsister secure a prince. After discovering a way to summon a fairy in Beatrice's old room, Theo thinks her prayers have been answered, but the fairy she meets isn't at all what she imagined. Drop dead gorgeous, incredibly cunning, and slightly devious, Cecily of the Ash Fairies is much more interested in gathering powerful favors and smoking her pipe than providing charitable magic for humans in a bind. Before she receives magical assistance, Cecily sets Theo to three tasks, seemingly to prove that Theo is a selfless and kind person. Helping her along the way are Cecily's familiars, the flirty human turned mockingbird Phineas, and the aloof Khazra, a fox shapeshifter who should not be as handsome as he is for someone with such cunning remarks. The one thing has nothing to do with the other. As Theo works on her tasks, she shockingly finds kinship with the magical creatures she's helping and starts to wonder if a continued life among her human peers is what she really wants after all. How strange. I mean, I like the different perspective, but what a strange little twist there. Didn't sleep well last night. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm working at 12. Oh, no. Oh, no. Maybe you can close your eyes during a lunchtime? I sometimes do that. Entangled by Elizabeth Rose, Book 5 in the Portals of Destiny. The sea nymph, when Meryl Havine gets pulled through a portal along those dang portals. Along with two of her sisters, she finds herself entangled in the net of a fishing ship. As one of the eldest of her 50 sea nymph sisters, 50, she is responsible for their safety. All she wants is to find them and go back through the portal before her father, Nereus, god of the sea, discovers they've disobeyed his rules. But when a handsome mortal king decides to keep her as his prisoner instead of throwing her back into the sea, she must do whatever it takes to convince him to let her go. The king. Sebastian Ravenwolf has claimed the title of King of Mikado Castle after the demise of his evil uncle. He He struggles with his new position, listening to his advisor as to what is expected of him. When he catches a sea nymph in his nets, he is convinced this will give him an upper hand over the other two kings of Mura, the Blackseed brothers, who have magical powers. The nymph is beautiful. Before long, he realizes he wants her as more than just his prisoner. She stirs his heart and seems to understand him better than any of his loyal subjects. Having one sea nymph might make him powerful, but when he discovers there are three of them, his advisor convinces him he needs them all. Now he just has to steal them away from his enemies, the other two kings. Duty and emotional clash as the descendant of an evil king tries to please both his people and the mysterious magical woman who has stolen his heart. The only problem is human and sea nymphs don't belong together. You think? However, sometimes destiny brings them together anyway. Now the real question is, can magic and mortality survive once they become entangled? It's like falling in love with a goldfish. It doesn't work. Coffee was required. Hey, Storm. Hey, Annalise. Happy Thursday to you. Emily, that is a bummer. Indeed. Ugh, when all you want to do is just go back to bed. It's a long day. Court of Talons, first in the Fang and Fire series by Jennifer Chance. For 21 years, the Talia of the 10th house has been her house's deepest shame. Now she's their last hope. Each year at the Tournament of Gold, first-blooded and first-born male warriors battle alongside their massive otherworldly monsters for fame and power. But when Talia's beloved younger brother is murdered on his way to the tournament and his beast unexpectedly bonds with Talia, all hope for the 10th is lost. The powerful, arrogant, and dangerously seductive Fortis of the first house would never let a woman vie for a seat on the Court of Talons. He might also be her brother's killer. Despite for answers and to protect her house, Talia assumes her brother's identity and enters the tournament. But beneath the pomp and glory of this year's battles, Talia discovers a dark conspiracy carefully crafted to destroy the entire realm. If an ever more deadly dance across gilded ballrooms and brutal fighting pits, she must sacrifice her heart, her freedom, and even the precious mystical bond she's formed with her glorious monster to win at all costs. Because only Talia understands the truth. If she's discovered, she dies. If she loses, she dies. And if she doesn't stop the evil scheming toward them through the shadows, everyone dies. End of row two. Blood of the Old Kings by Sungil Kim, and translator is Anton Her. This is a Korean author. There is no escaping the empire, even in death, you will serve. In an empire run on necromancy, dead sorcerers are the lifeblood. Their corpses are wrapped in chains and drained of magic to feed the unquenchable hunger for imperial conquest. Born with magic, Arian has become resigned to her dark fate. But when the voice of a long dead sorcerer begins to speak inside her head, she listens. There may be another future for her if she's willing to fight for it. Miles away beneath a volcano, a seven-eyed dragon also wears the Empire's chains. Before the Imperial fist closed around their lands, it was the people's sacred guardian. Lauren, a widowed swordswoman, is the first to kneel before the dragon in decades. She comes with a desperate plea and will leave with a sword of dragon fang in hand and great purpose before her. In the heart of the imperial capital, Cain is known as a man who gets things done. When his best friend and mentor is found murdered, he will leave no stone unturned to find those responsible, even if it means starting a war. Step in the world of necromancy, murder, and twisted magic, a world in need of a hero. We won't do a copyright thing, but a certain song came into my mind at that point. The Reign of Rose, the Sacred Stones series or trilogy. This is third in that. This is by Kate Golden. They must save the world, but can they also save each other? Cain Ravenwood, king of Onyx Kingdom, would go to the ends of the continent for Arwen Valendale, but what if she's beyond even that? Broken in ways he never imagined he could be, Cain must survive to fulfill the prophecy and kill his father, Fey King Lazarus. After what he's endured, Cain is willing to save all of Evandale by whatever means necessary, even if that spells his own death. Little does Cain know he's not the only one desperate for revenge. Arwen is no longer afraid to fight. No sacrifice is too great, no enemy too daunting. Now nothing will stop her from destroying Lazarus. She's all too aware that if she fails, both realms will be doomed forever. With the help of new allies and old friends, Cain and Arwen will see this battle through to the end. I do like those kinds of covers. The Mountain Crown, The Crowns of Ishia, Book 1 by Karen Lawachi. This is a Dragon Rider quest. Mika must capture a king dragon or die trying. War between the island states of Kataka and Masmor have left no one unscathed. Mika's nomadic people, the Baswan, are driven from their homeland by the Katakans. Those who remain were forced to live under the Katakan yoke to serve their greed for gold alongside the dragons with whom the Baswan share an empathic connection. A decade later, and under a fragile truth, Mika returns home from her exile for an ancient necessary rite, gathering a king dragon of the Crown Mountains to maintain balance in the wild country. But the act of compassion toward an imprisoned dragon and Lily, a Katakan veteran of the war, soon draw the ire of the imperialistic authorities. They order the unwelcome addition of an enigmatic drinking game Baswan trader named Raka to accompany Mecca and Lily to the mountains. The journey is filled with dangers both within and without. As conflict threatens to reignite the survival of the Baswan people, their dragons, and the land itself will depend on the decisions, defiant or compliant, that Mecca and her companions choose to make. But not even Mecca, kin to the great dragons of the north, can anticipate the depth of the consequences to her world. We have Witches and Dragons today. Witches and Dragons. The Last Dragon of the East. by Katrina Kwan. Hi, Mary. It's okay. Sleeping is good. I would. Inspired by Chinese myths of ancient dragon gods. At the spry young age of 25, Asai has led a quiet life, keeping the family tea house up and running, even if that means ignoring the past due notices and taking care of his ailing mother. But he has a not so secret gift that he's parlayed into a side career. He was born with the ability to see the red threads of fate between soulmates, which lends itself nicely to matchmaking. Sai has thus far been content not to follow his own thread, the only one he's ever seen that's gray and fraying. But Sai's ordinary existence is about to be turned upside down by a pair of shining dragon scales when his mother's doctor sells them to him, claiming them as a miracle cure. Sai is pretty sure he's being scammed. When the medicine actually works and the terrifying, ruthless emperor catches wind, Sai is thrust into the world for a dragon long thought extinct, and they will lead him into the throes of a brewing war and deep into foreign lands, facing down challenges both magical and mortal on an unexpected adventure. But for the very first time, his own thread of fate begins to move. He may be able to solve the mystery of his fated one at the other end of the line. End of row 3. That was row 3. Yes, row 3. Last one. Fledgling. The Keeper's Record of Revolution by S.K. Ali. Book 1 in the Keeper's Records of Revolution. There we go. Would you trade love for peace? Raisa of Upper Earth has lived a life of privilege and acquiescence. Ever dutiful, she accepts her father's arrangement of her marriage to Lian, crown prince of the corrupt volatile lands of Lower Earth. Though Lian is a stranger, Raisa knows the wedding will unite their vastly different worlds in a pact of peace. An infusion of Upper Earth technology will usher in the final age of enlightenment, ending war between humans forever. Or is justice more urgent? Newly released from imprisonment, Nada of Lower Earth has found her own calling, disrupting the royal wedding. Convincing her cousin Lian's alliance with Upper Earth will launch an invasive, terrifying form of tyranny. Nada sets out undercover to light the spark of revolution. When Raisa goes missing a week before the wedding, all eyes turn to the rebels, including Naif, Nada's twin brother, a fugitive on the run. In Naif and Ray's meeting, the long-simmering animosity between their worlds slowly burns away into something unexpected. But the crown prince wants his bride and future back. He will go to the ends of the earths to reclaim them. And that is it. We made it. We love dragons? Awesome. There's so many out there. We have recommendations. Emily has recommendations. Annalise says, hi, Mary. Hi, how are you? Long time no see. I'm okay, been sick and slow. Oh, no. How are you? Oh, Annalise. Feel better. And how's your bunny? I'm good. Busy doing craft shows, some travel too. Indeed. She's been a busy girl. All right. That is all we have time for today. That was fantasy and science fiction, pretty much all fantasy being published this week. Tomorrow is Friday, thank goodness, TGIF, and Freeform Friday. We'll probably be looking at more cozy mysteries because there's always a lot of those. Have a very good Thursday. Please be safe wherever you are. You guys are all in my hearts, and let us know you're safe. We do have sprints tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. They go for 2.5 hours. Bring your own book, work on a project, or just close your eyes like Emily will do, and she needs to. If she hope everyone has a great day. Anxiously waiting on Tiffany and others from Florida. Also, updates on Sarah. Hope you're feeling better, Lise. Indeed. You betcha. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. And as the banner says here, don't be a bookworm, be a bookie monster. Nom nom nom. Have a good day and God bless.